Andrew
Still,
Phillips, you've gone and bloody done it, mate. Congratulations. Tell me the initial feelings after a pretty crazy last couple of games, eh?
yeah, no, just very relieved, very happy. Just 250,000 people playing. It's such a huge number, and obviously you look at the final scores, and there's 10 people within 100 points, which is like one player once. And so,
Madness.
yeah, no, it was a lot of fun the whole way. So, yeah, no, been really good.
Mate, even to the final whistle with Zach Lomax trying to spoil the party there with an 84 there from Ben.
Yeah. I was watching. I was like, he's got to score 130 for
Yeah.
this to be happening. So, but yeah, that was a crazy game. And
60
Copious
something.
Paul somehow getting 40 points, which was just enough to keep it under control.
Well, yeah, mate, in that last game, we had to worry a little bit about Jaden Brayley, but with 60 odd points on the board from the other team, there wasn't much tackling for him to do, was there?
No. So no, that was no, I was much more worried about Trey Fuller. That was a
Yes.
very hard watch.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
how we got away with that. Hey, with the 50 odd point, 62 points that they put on.
Yeah, and he's such a good player, but yeah, Hammer did most of the scoring. So yeah, and yeah, feel very fortunate because I think if you look at the top 10 teams, mine was comfortably the worst by the end of by the end of things, partly because I'd gone so very hard early, and so I didn't have Walsh, I didn't have DCE, I didn't have Trey Fuller.
Whoa,
Um,
12,
so
17.
yeah, things just kept falling just sufficiently my way. So very lucky, and obviously heaps of people making really good calls and putting lots of pressure on. So no, it was good fun.
Yeah, as you said, for it to be that close through the top 10, but thankfully with matching players and stuff, there was only sort of a few that could catch you in the end. But yeah, it was jostling spots for between all the others really throughout the weekend, and just crazy.
Yeah,
Some of these scores, man, like as you said, just sort of limped your way through with the 16, and most of the teams had the 17 players, but there's a few 1200s in here, the high 11s with
yeah,
yeah, just incredible work. And just a super proud moment for myself to have both yourself and Jake part of the crew, and then Tyson there in ninth. We had the two top 10 finishes in eighth and ninth last year, but for me, mate, selfishly, the goal of the private group has to been to get someone to win this thing, and you've gone and done it. So, mate, I'm super proud, and I'm really happy for you because yeah, you get all the glory, but you've got all the prizes from NRL and then from the private crew as well, and yeah, you get to call yourself the an NRL fantasy winner for the rest of your life, which is pretty crazy.
yeah. No, it's awesome, and obviously, I mean, massively grateful to yourself for both the things that were available to everyone, like sort of week one, Jamie Humphries. Like I don't spend a lot of time watching reserve grade and things, so I know I probably don't always watch all the trials. So yeah, I often don't know some of the players who you need for the new season. So that a lot of that is really sort of taking the analysis from yourself, and then obviously through the season, just that whole bunch of decisions. I mean, there was a spreadsheet sort of that I did on Friday night with the last 10 games or last 5 games, and things like working out whether it was worth playing AFB or Saval, or just taking Savala's score. And in the end, I took Savala's score, which was slightly lower. But yeah, all these things that worked through over time, because those last 6, 7 rounds were just a massive head-to-head game against a lot of people, and B, an ever-changing group of people. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
so yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember we what 6 or 7 rounds out as well. I sort of sent you that document that I was like looking at all
Yeah.
the numbers and I was like, "Cool, these are the guys to worry about." And a few of them ended up right there at the top, and then we sort of Cooper that we were really worried about with all the trades. That it just shows as well that you can have the trades late and something that you didn't have, and some people used them and got lucky with the guys that they brought in, and then like Cooper got unlucky with his,
Yeah,
unfortunately there. But just yeah, there was a few guys on your tail, and it was more just like how do we hold that lead, and you did really well in the end. Yeah, it was, as I said, limping over the line, but that's all you needed,
I know.
which is great.
Yeah, I was acutely aware today that whilst yes, Trey Fuller was dangerous against the depleted Raiders, but I had also benefited from anyone who had Tapane, had Hudson Young,
Mm,
had Fogarty. They were all resting.
true,
So
for
yeah, it
sure.
swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, man, just so happy for you. How was it? When did it kind of settle in? Did it partway through that game, or does it
Yes,
feel
I
real
think
yet? Or
yeah, into the second half, I think it started to feel like, hey, this should happen because even if Kaipius Paul got injured, there wasn't enough time for Bradley to get enough points, and
yeah,
yeah, it was like, hey, yeah, but yeah, in terms of who knows whether I'll be able to even contemplate the enormity of like when you win something with 1,000 people, that's pretty special, pretty incredible. But
mm,
obviously, this is just so much larger, and so yeah, no, been really really good fun, and also like just great fun. All the people to chat to and all those different things has sort of made. I've obviously watched a huge amount of league this year, and
yeah,
yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
yeah, definitely, mate. You said that this is obviously by far your best sort of finish, but what do you think it's been over the last few years? Have you kind of learned a few different things each year, or do you feel like you've kind of used them to get to this point, or is it a lot of luck,
Oh,
or how do you put it down?
to- totally combination. Like, yeah, you have to be lucky. I mean, round 18 when I traded Adam Dewey because there'd been that rumor for a few days that Jack Bird wasn't going to play and he was starting on the Tigers' edge, and everyone was like, have to get Jack Bird, and
Mm,
Dewey's 100,000 more expensive, and suddenly he goes on a 6 week tear, scores incredible numbers of points. And
awesome.
then even right at the end, so Damien Cook, who
Mm,
we were all supposed to sell at the end of the buy rounds, but I couldn't for various reasons, like not having many trades and people keeping on getting injured. Suddenly reels off 460s to finish the season, and so plays like he's an elite gun,
yeah.
which I guess historically he was, but through the middle of the season he wasn't quite so much.
Well, I do remember that moment because you had it was him or one or two other guys at that time that who have we got there? Guys like Bo Fermor became
Yeah,
a
which I had to sell Furmore to get Dewey to get. I think it was 13 on the park. Um,
that's right.
And so it was
Yeah,
a bit of an ugly trade, but it seemed sort of put the points on the board, and that seemed to help. And that was probably the strategy early on as well, was just keep doing things that maximize your points now and try and get towards the front. And
yes,
so yeah, there was no trade saving that went on early on. I think
round
you might be
nine.
allowed 3 trades in round seven.
That's right.
Um, so that's kind of a trade save, but yeah,
Yeah,
it was yeah, going hard early was definitely part of it.
yeah. Well, it's part of the analysis that we found from last year and all the stuff that was in the private crew with that was just like yeah,
Mm.
there's especially with the new rules and stuff, is to go hard early and build that lead, which is exactly what you did and Jake had a very great start as well and was able to kind of hold up position into the top 100 for a good while using those strategies as well. And we'll yeah, we'll delve into that as well in this off season and go through your side, which will be good fun as part of that
Oh,
top 10
absolutely.
analysis, which is awesome. But yeah, that Cook one was interesting with at that time. I know we were talking about it. It was like, well, he's sort of at worst like a mid 40s scorer and pretty safe. Whereas, some
Yeah,
guys are like could lose their spot in and out, all this stuff. You like, what Cook is, and he could go
yeah.
well and have the upside, and he really did towards the end. And just 60 tackles every game was madness.
It was yeah, and yeah, I think that security of spot really really
Yeah,
matters. And the other one that I guess I kept riding the luck with was Hugo Savala.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and so he could have been sold in round 14. Could have been sold when he got injured in about round 20, but yeah, he just kept scoring. Not every week. Well, every week he kept getting 40s, but
yeah.
sometimes he'd get 60s and perform like a gun. So that was yeah, that was extremely helpful.
Yeah, him and Cook last week, especially, kind of just
Yeah.
gave you that little bit of cushion, I think, to feel a bit safer when they both got their 60s. And yeah, like
Yeah,
with
well,
Walker being in and out, and just those guys that it's their spot, and they're not they're not losing it is such an important thing, especially as you go hard early and run out of the trades as the end of the season comes. And yeah, you weren't without. Yeah, you'd still got copped a few of the injuries later on. You know, with Herbie, with Garrick there, Isaiah Yo was out for that time. We had Dewey, who you benefited from, but then got the injuries from him and stuff. So you
Yeah,
weren't
when
without any bad luck as well.
yeah, I had to hold him. Actually, I mean the injuries thing from about round 11. You go through sort of Matty Nicholson,
Egan,
Egan, I sold Nafahu White just before he came back, but then
that's right.
Tamale.
Oh
I had
yeah,
almost every trade was forced. Like Fletcher Sharp got injured,
Latrell.
and I struggled to get players on the field for round 18.
Oh, Zachy boy.
I I actually got to sell Jazz Tavanga. That was and sold Tallis Duncan by choice, but pretty much everything else seemed relatively forced, though Yo did
Mm,
obviously come back and seems to have a good shoulder. Um,
yeah, it's good yesterday.
seemed like he was playing very, very well. And that was the other thing. All the players who you didn't have are all great players, and they're all players that you'd want in your own team. You just haven't quite got them. So
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't like you'd wish anything bad for any of them. It was just, yeah, keep hanging on.
Mm. Other guys that stood out. I feel like Ellie Katoa was a really nice hold through
Oh,
that time as well. And
he was insane. And obviously, I mean, this week the 78, that was when Walsh was scoring 92,
yeah,
having his 78 was pretty helpful.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, looking at this squad now, and as you said, it was a bit of a limp home. There was a few guys that did well at times, like Blake Brayley, but a low one for him this week. But Turbo
Mm.
having his big scores, limping through with Adden, who had good scores at times, but yeah, just
Adam
the
Fino
timing of Dewey and all those things,
oh,
and Cook and Savala all
AFB
worked out.
was yeah, AFB was pretty terrible from about round 17, but there was
Yeah,
no opportunity to sell him. Jacob Kiraz didn't really go off. Isaiah
no,
Katoa was better through the middle of the season. They're not too bad today. So yeah, no, it was and I guess yeah, that was probably one of the things when we look more into it that the looping was very, very important because yeah, most of these guys didn't score that well every single week,
true.
but you could usually find some of them who were scoring well. And obviously the Connor Watson trade in that was a
Yeah,
that was a regrettable one as well.
2 years in a
But
row.
yeah, well, yeah, yeah, and got him because he can score 90s, and it didn't seem like there was anyone else who could. But for the second time in the season, Uelu stuffed one of my trades
Oh,
because I bought in
hilarious.
Zach Docker-Clay and then I bought in Watson and he defeated both of them. So hey, that was the way it goes. But yeah, I'm just very, very fortunate with that enough of the things fell my way. And so yeah, really happy about that.
Definitely, mate. Yeah, that was a big part of the season. At times, Cook was having his moments, and you could usually loop him in a five
Mm.
or a six. And when he did score well, or someone else got injured and he played the 80, you could take that score. And then the game that he got like a 38 or whatever, you seem to be able to avoid it and sort of cycle between him,
Yeah.
AFB, Savala, Drinky at
Scott
times as
Drinkwater.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Drinky
But
had the love-hate relationship with him, brought him in, early enough there. You
but
bring him
yeah.
back around 18 there, and but bought him at a decent price, right? At 544, which is always helpful.
And the other one that made a real difference early on was just team value and getting a really good team value.
Yeah,
And so that was important. I think it faded away at the end as other people's players started taking off and people
still pretty
like Nicky,
close
who
to top.
fortunately was far enough back, who started scoring 1,200 every week, and
Mm,
others. But yeah, no, it's well, and obviously Turtles was scoring enormous amounts. Jay-Z was scoring enormous amounts. There were lots of people having great weeks, and their team values probably got up above mine.
mm.
But
And that part's going to be really cool to look at too. Is the timing of your runs as well. So some of these guys really came home strong, and there's merit in that too. And in other seasons, or if you got an extra injury, they come over the top and win as well. So there's going to be lots of different
totally.
ways to go about it and be good to get the couple of years, 3 years or so of data now of how it all runs and all the different ways you can kind of play it, which is good fun.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, there's certainly like yeah, you have to be close enough, and I think that's one of the things. Like, yeah, you have to be sort of within a certain number of points
Mm,
going into the last few rounds. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't matter how many trades you've got, you're not going to find people to score 200.
definitely, mate. What was the scariest part of yesterday? Was it this beautiful man going crazy or
Um, it was a bit worrying. It was sort of 80 at half time. I was like, yeah, the 140 could happen.
yeah?
Um, he could do that.
That's crazy.
So yeah, no, there was a little bit of worry, but yeah, it slowed down. And I guess I'm probably often thinking it's maybe I'm too mathematical in how I think about things, but usually it's like if someone scored 10 in the first half, it's not like they're going to score 10 in the second. Similarly, if they've
True.
scored 80, they're probably not going to get another 80. But
Yeah. Oh, how
so
many times do you see that? Hey, like a 60 first half and they end up on 78 or something like, or the game
yeah,
slows down and they've won
yeah,
by 40 or something. Yeah.
they get tired, something like that. So yeah, and it was a slight worry back actually yesterday, and I think, and we had that spreadsheet and of everything that could happen, and
Preston,
yeah,
Isaiah
Cleary was
Yo,
a worry, but yeah, there was still Preston, there was still Hines, there was still the Sharks
Hines.
boys
Yeah.
to play. So yeah, no, it was and obviously and then for today there was Trey Fuller and things. So yeah, it was all, hey, well, this could go wrong, but this could go wrong too. And also softening the Cleary thing was the fact Edwards was scoring nothing and Yo
Mm.
was just doing what we expected. So yeah, no, it was but yeah, the whole weekend it got much more nervous from about Friday night. Like before that, I'd just been like, "Oh yeah, hey, it's all fine." But if you got trampled on the final day, and so it was like, even when the last game's starting, and you're like, "Well, if Kai Paul gets an HIA after 5 minutes,
Mm.
Brayley comes on and makes 60 tackles,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's all over." So yeah, no, it's all all that layer of things that can happen. But yeah, no, really, really enjoyable season and yeah, just been great fun.
Awesome, mate. Yeah, we've seen that happen before. The last sort of few winners have been up in front for a good while and have been run down that last week. So it was great that one of our own was able to buck that trend and hold on strong. And yeah, you've done a lot of planning over the last few months since you've kind of hit that lead, and it's like, all right, how do we keep it? And there's the strategy and there's an art to doing that as well. Like being able to not make too many risks and make everyone else, take those risks as well, which had helped some people. Like those risks did pay off and they were able to get close. And there were some that, yeah, they fell away into the 15s, 20s and beyond. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
well, and there was
interesting,
certainly,
isn't
yeah,
it?
for the people who were in that top three or four, yeah, you tended to have an eye on which players they had that you didn't, who you also
Mm,
thought were good, and which ones you could therefore add.
yeah, that's crazy, man. We'll sink in over the next little bit, but
Oh,
that was a big
totally.
part of this, mate, just to come on and say congrats and give yourself a little victory lap and get
Yeah, well,
everyone.
no, thank, and yeah, as I say, I'm very, very grateful to you, and actually to everyone. Like it didn't always matter what time of day or night. If you were thinking and talking fantasy, there was someone else who was looking at the numbers. Someone who's either in the UK or wherever it is. So
True.
it was almost like the messages could almost sort of go at any time of the day or night, and you could always get really good feedback on ideas and also just the flow of information that I think's it just keeps you more connected. You're less likely to miss stuff and
Mm,
still miss stuff. Like when I like round 12, I missed Uelu on the Roosters bench. I would not have bought Zach Docker Clay if I'd known there
that's
was
right.
a second hooker there.
That's right.
But yeah, I missed that. But yeah, generally you don't miss things. And I mean, you hear things like, hey, the Dogs aren't resting players before everyone else does. And so, yeah, no, it's certainly great community to be a part of
Mm.
and incredibly supportive. So, yeah, really grateful for what you've built and also yeah, the information that's there, and we've just been joined by my 2-year-old,
Beautiful.
so you can hear a bit of audio in the background.
Happy Father's Day to you, my good
Oh,
man.
thank
It's
you.
yeah, just seeing the flood of messages come through for you and Jake in the group just now has been really cool, and we'll finish this and go have another read of those. But yeah,
Sounds.
everyone's super supportive and happy for everyone in there, and it kind of
Totally.
shows that I suppose they can do it as well. Even
Oh,
myself, I'm
exactly.
sitting there and got close to the top 100, a couple of years ago, and knowing that you guys can, and everyone else the same. There's a few that are in there, sort of 3, 4 thousand, going okay, like they did it, I can do it too. So
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that is awesome.
And you can go from, I've known people to go from 20,000th to top 30, or you can go from, last year I tried to run a head-to-head team and an overall team, and one was like 3,000th and the other was 20,000th.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
it's like things can go right or wrong.
Yeah,
It's every year's a different year.
that's right. That's right. That's awesome, mate. And yeah, you had some traveling throughout as well, and yeah, just being able to have that information there, and everyone
Yeah,
helps each
well,
other out is probably the big thing, hey, as you said.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's like, yeah, if I'm guessing, I would have spent 6 weeks this season out of Australasia watching Zero League and still being able to make the right decisions because you're
Mm.
sufficiently connected to it that, and you've got a sufficiently good flow of information. Um, so yeah, that was like, yeah, some of those rounds where I had hardly any trades, sort of rounds 20, the early round 20s, but yeah, also early in the season at what's probably the most critical time. Yeah, was able to stay sufficiently connected to be making the right decisions. So yeah, that was a big part of it as well.
Awesome, Andrew. All right, we'll leave you there, mate. Thanks so much for jumping on. I think Jake mentioned, just had him on just before. He wants to come on and do a bit of a celebration with you at some point in the next few days.
Sounds
So
great. Yeah.
if you're up for that, that'll be
Yeah, totally.
maybe you can delve in a little bit more to you. You guys can chat between each other about your squads and some different
Yeah.
things as well once it kind of settles in. But yeah, just a big thanks to you for being a part of it all for the last bunch of years, and meeting you at in New Zealand this year was good fun, and I hope to
Yeah.
do that a lot more. And yeah, thanks so much for being a great ambassador for the crew, and congrats for doing so well, mate. Enjoy it all.
Oh, no worries. And yeah, no, I was tempted to go and watch the final games at full time
Oh yes,
where they've sort of been supporting you, but yeah, I was on the road and had to drop kids home, so I didn't quite make it. But yeah, it would have been cool to head there. So yeah, we'll have to do another meet up there next year.
yeah, that's right. Danny would have been there to cheer you on, mate. Even I think he messaged me. He goes, "Oh, why do we love this fantasy thing so much?" So I think his last few rounds might have been similar to mine. So yeah, he
You
would have
get
been he
that.
would have been showing some love for you, cheering with you. But yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
no,
Excited for
all
that
good
next year.
fun. Excellent. Well, yeah, enjoy your evening, and thank you so much for all the help and support.
Good on you, Andrew. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. See ya.